Hey everyone, Natalie here from the Modern Stitchery, my little corner of the internet where I talk about almost all the things that I make. I say almost just because, cooking is making, and I think I've done a little cooking on here, but haven't been that good about recording stuff like that, or really anything in general. I'm really bad. I want to get better, but it is what it is. Anyways, welcome if you're new or if you're back. I appreciate it. It just wobbled, didn't it? Sorry about that. I'll get better. Today, I just want to focus on some recent finishes and some whip progress and new whips that y'all haven't seen yet. So I'm going to start with the smaller stitching, like embroidery and cross stitch. So I will try to put chapters. So if you're more interested in other things, you can fast forward if you'd like. But I finished this Mill Hill kit. Well, I haven't fully finished, but my sister needs to get back to me if she wants it to be a magnet or an ornament. But it is I think I have a little baggie here. A Mill Hill kit comes with the beads. It is called, it's the Autumn Harvest Collection Squirrely. Hopefully get the reflection out. There you go. There's a funny squirrel story, kind of inside family joke for her, and it's super cute, super, super cute. So I finished that, and I started it actually on our trip up here to Colorado to go house shopping. So finished that. And something else I finished, so I haven't shown it yet, so this was done a while back, maybe about a year ago. I don't know if it's considered safe or not, so I'm not going to say you should do this, but I'm usually really good about charging things in open air, never on the bed, things like that. But I did, to personalize mine so people don't steal them, my own family, is I crocheted them on. So I just wrapped it around and did like a single crochet stitch all the way around. This is scrap yarn, both fingering. I cannot tell you what they are. So here's my old iPhone jack because I got a new phone. So I got a new jack, charger cable, and this is the one I just finished this week. So probably took me about 45 minutes, an hour with a little bitty crochet hook, but I thought I'd show my old one and my new one, so super cute. But this is how I easily keep an eye out on my charging cables. And then I also, just as a side thing, I put washi tape on my chargers, my charging blocks, so I can say these are mine, because I'm tired of paying $20 some for a new charging thing. Okay, cross stitch. I've made some progress on a butterfly cloche. This is from, the pattern is from by Hello Liz Matthews, I believe. I'll put my project pages up if for stuff like this. So I did the call for silks. Don't remember. Again, I'll be up there. But so I finished last time. I may have shared this with you. I was still here on this butterfly. I haven't done the back stitching yet. I usually wait till the end to do that. Just depends. But I finished this butterfly and I started on this one. And this one's a gift. And it is on 40 count. And I'm doing it 1/2, which is typically, I may have said this before, typically not my style because it leaves some gaps. But for this style of pattern, I think it's beautiful. And it fits really, really well. So I'm excited. So far away, it looks so good. Up close too, but I mean, wow, when I'm looking at it on the camera, it looks really, really good. Wow, it's gorgeous. So that's my cross stitch progress on that. I have a few more, but I haven't touched those, so I'm not going to bother showing them. Not doing a whip parade this year so much, just because I'm not prepared for something like that. Maybe at the end of the year. I'll do an end of year one. So this is sashiko. Let's see. I finished the pink section. So definitely got some room for improvement. And then I'm close to finish with the green, so you can kind of see if this is all done here. So I got all this left, and it's just the diagonal lines that's left. So I think for this pattern, a thinner thread would have been better, but this is all learning. My first one, so really cute. Still got a needle attached here, so gotta be careful. Oh, I've tried recording, but I haven't liked the outcome yet. I made a new stitchy spot, and I'd like to show y'all because I got a card and everything. So maybe I'll get a little video and show you that. This is like in a cosmetic bag because it looks sheepy. I like it from the makeup eraser. When I got some makeup eraser things, it's a perfect little project bag. And this is actually in my stitching cart. Okay, I think, let me do crochet next. I think that's it on stitching needlework type stuff in the needlework category. Okay, so I started and finished from the last time we chatted. So as I was organizing my studio, sometimes this happens when I'm organizing yarn, I get a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of yarn I have, and I just want to make something, you know, I did have in mind to make this with the yarn that I was getting, and I just like whipped it up. Doing something like this, actually, because it's really tight and with really thick yarn, because it's Lion brand Thick and Quick held double, it is really hard on my hands. So I did like when I was at the base, I did a couple rows a day. So every time I sat at my desk, I tried to do a row. But I made a nice small basket, almost used up all the yarn. I had barely a little bit left, and I gave it to my daughter to use as stuffing for her crochet dragons. But this pattern is from, I'll have the pattern page. I believe it's Darling Be Creative or something Be Creative. Her pattern is very, very well written. I know that I'm sure there's some like freebie tutorials and stuff out there with this, but I will say I bought her pattern and I think it's very much worth it. It comes with all sorts of sizes. Very, very nice. And it gave even some recommendations. I didn't do it for this one, but it gave some recommendations on reinforcing the handle, especially for the bigger ones. I made a big one. I have it on my Instagram I'll try and put a photo. I made a big one in the gray for my cat's toys, and it turned out really cute. So it's a pretty big one, and that took quite a while to make. And Breck, he was a teeny tiny kitten when I was making it at the time, and he would always get in the basket, and he keeps trying to get in this one, but he's too big for it now. So, but I liked it. I like these little baskets. It does have some metallic thread in there, some different color metallic thread. Oh, you can kind of see it over here on the shine. But I almost got scrap yarn, fingering yarn or lace weight yarn to incorporate in it, and then I just didn't feel like it. But that would be, I think, really cool to, you know, incorporate some whimsy. So the other thing I started was a crochet blanket, and this is such an interesting. It's for my son, so for my kids and all my nieces and nephews. I've made crochet blankets. I started with my son. I did a Lego one. I'll try to insert a photo, and it turned out wonderful. This is when I started picking crochet back up. I started when I was 6, and I was like really getting into it, but I made a lot of mistakes as far as seaming. So it was these Lego bricks that you needed to seam. Did not go very good. So it's kind of fallen apart. He has asked me to mend it, to fix it, or make a new one just like it. But he did say he would like another blanket. He loves blankets. He's very cold-natured, always walking around with blankets on him. He would rather have a blanket around him than a hoodie. So he picked the pattern and the yarn. It's from Knit Picks. I'll put the color, some sort of heather blue. The color's showing pretty accurate. And what's so interesting, so you're like, Natalie, it's one color. Why do you have all these scraps at the end hanging out? Well, in the pattern, it's free, by the way, on her blog with all the ads. I went ahead and paid for it because I couldn't take it anymore. I tried, but it's great to support designers anyways in that way. But essentially, after you do a section, so it's almost like a corner to corner. It is single crochet in the back loop, but I think it's turning out beautiful. Anyways, so essentially, after you finish a section, you cut it off, you chain and attach it, and then you go, and then you chain out, and then you go back and forth, eventually crocheting up all the way through the chain. And then eventually you get to a spot where you don't increase on both sides. I think it's one side, so I'm not quite there yet. And I think I do want to make this a little bit bigger than what the original pattern calls for. I may do another section or two, but this is the, oh, it's so pretty. Love it. And right now it's actually sitting in this little basket. It's going to outgrow it really quick. So I am using I did go smaller in the hook. Because it's in the back loop, it's already really stretchy and you can kind of see through it some. So I went smaller, and I'm already fairly tight. So I went down to a 5.5 millimeter or an I. I think it called for a J or K. And I just, like I said, I wanted to go smaller. So I bought, hopefully, I think I got 30 skeins or 50 grams. Hopefully I got enough. If not, I'm pretty sure I can do okay getting more within a similar dial out. But anyways, I started that, and that's been fun. I've been probably doing, probably an average of, especially with how long it is now, a row, 2 rows a day-ish average. Some days I get more, some days I don't even touch it, but that's where that's sitting. Another crochet project, it is a granny square blanket, but I just have a bunch of granny squares, so I'm just going to show a few. I haven't counted how many I have yet, but I'm going to basically crochet through 2 advents worth of minis. One of them for sure is from Chelsea Yarns. I don't remember what year, and I'm pretty sure the other one is from Suburban Stitcher. So it's fingering yarn held double, and I'm making I think it's called the Sunburst crochet square. So really, really cute. Some other colors. Really enjoying them. This is my on the go. So this project, as I finish the squares, I put them in my bag, and I have all of the unused, uncrocheted balls in a bag in my purse. I don't know if I showed this one or not, but so, and then I'm saving all I have left. I can show you what I have left. I make 2 out of a mini, and this was the bag that was housing Squirrely, the cross stitch Mill Hill kit, but this is about the size of what I have left. And I'm putting them all in here for now, and I think it's enough to make like a row of a scrappy blanket. So I have some scraps very similar from some other stuff I've made in fingering yarn. So eventually that's going to turn into a scrappy blanket. I think that's it on the crochet front. So we got stitching, crochet. Let's move on to knitting. Okay. Let me show you the latest. I call it my rainbow shawl, but it is called Horology. It's a horology wrap from Expression Fiber Arts. This is one of those patterns where I did the exact called for yarn, beads, knitting with beads. This is my second time knitting with beads. So I have 3 full colors left. This is the one I'm currently on, and I am coming up soon to where I need to fade into the next. But let me see if I can stand up. This is her in all her glory. Gorgeous. Yeah, so pretty. Hopefully you can see the beads. But yeah, she's great. Knitting her on, what size needle? I think it's the called for 3.25 millimeter, size 3 US. And in case anyone's curious, these are on some Hayahayas. And I've been using one of these, and this really helps because it's so slippery on the cable to bunch it up as I'm knitting, so I'm not constantly pulling on it. So these are pretty much what's on the end of sweatshirts, on the little tabby thing sometimes, or pants. I would recommend buying them from knit yarn shops if you can to support them, although I know they're pricier, but definitely know that there's cheaper alternatives out there. Yeah, this is turning out really, really nice. Almost there. I don't know when I started this, but dropped the ball, of course. So I've been trying to, now that I have my studio in somewhat decent shape, I've been trying to put in a row or two. The rows are long, and of course the purl row. Purling isn't so bad. It's just there's this one stitch where you have to purl two together in a funky way. I forget what it's called, but to basically make it look like a slip-slip knit, but you're doing it purl-wise, and that's just so that's that one. This is one that I don't think you've seen yet. It was one, I believe, in my last full episode that I talked about and I couldn't find it. Oh. But this is a petite knit. I'm knitting it on Bamboo Pop. I got 3 skeins, so hopefully it'll be enough. And I don't think, is there a color number 140, Crocodile. And this is where she is. And I'm going to tell you something kind of, you're like, Natalie. So this is the Anchors Summer Shirt, again from Petite Knit. I'm almost at the ribbing, but I will tell you, you're like, huh, I've knitted Anchors before. Why does it look like that? I forgot at the end of each section to basically, I think it's knit the yarn overs together. Totally missed that row. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking, but I realized it when I was here. So what I did was before I split for the sleeves, I added a few more rows just to make sure I had it long enough before breaking. So we'll see if that works out or not. But yeah, so it does leave it a little bit see-through. But I wear tanks underneath my knits anyways, just so I don't have to wash them as much. Of course, I mean, I do wash them, but not as much if I'm wearing a tank. But yeah, and it is so soft. This is my first time knitting with Bamboo Pop. So I've had Bamboo Pop before. I've crocheted with it, done some other things, but it is so soft. And I remember buying these between $5 and $7 6, 7 years ago. And now I think I paid 12, 14, maybe 15. Either way, still for 3. I'm on the last one and I got like almost a full, like I just broke into it. So I think I got plenty for the ribbing and the sleeves. So still very affordable, I think, for a top like this. And it's 50% cotton, 50% bamboo. And it's just absolutely, sorry, I did that over the mic. It's absolutely divine. So put that back in here. Also on Haya's size 4 millimeter, 6 US. I always try to just stick to millimeter. It's so much easier. I wish we would stop with the size numbers. I know sometimes it's easier, but it's getting a bit annoying. All right, so on the Anchors theme, I have put some stitches in. So I know I've shown it before, but I did get some in. So this is the Anchors sweater. And then, so if you're not familiar with the Anchors and you're like, Natalie, what are you talking about with those holes? You'll be able to see a difference with this one. I don't know. Sorry, let me see if I have the yarn label. Julie Aslin, Les DK, 90% merino, 10% silk, called Romance. So that's this. So pretty. I know it may not be the best color for me, but I don't care. Okay, so I don't know if you'll be able to see. It's not as wholly where you see the sections are. So you actually, these are knitted together. So there's no open yarn overs. This has been on the needles for quite a while. I don't know what the holdup is with this. It's not the color, it's not the pattern. I mean, I'm at the point where I'm just on the body. I think actually, I know what it was. I hadn't quite broken out for the sleeves yet. And I was at my mom's house. This was before we moved. And I was helping her start this very pattern. And so she has it too. And actually finished it for her. So it got me to finish it. I was at her house when I finally was like, oh, I need to do mine. And so so actually this is all I've made this progress over the last maybe 3 months. And it was on hold after I got to that point for maybe a year. So these are size for the body, because again, ribbing could be different. Also 4mm size 6. And these happen to be on my signature needles. Did you hear that? Is it Haya Haya or Chaogu? I think it's Chaogu. They've bought signature needle arts. So I know that is the bougie of the bouge when it comes to needles. And it did drive me nuts because I have interchangeable. I don't have a full set. But having to get a different cable for everyone, yeah, obviously I couldn't do that. So I have at least one cable for each size and maybe a few multiples for others. But I do love the signature. I'm looking forward to what Chaogu does with them. And it sounds like they're open to taking feedback too. So anyways, that is Petite Knit Anger's sweater. And yes, you're going to see a bunch of Petite Knit. I told you I had a bunch going on around the same time. All right, so this one is the no frill sweater. I don't have the ball of yarn on this one, but I'll make sure to list it up there. This screams to me. So I made it quite large on purpose. So excuse any mic noise, but let me stand up a little bit so you can see. Lots of positive ease. And this is, did I make the extra large? I'll go back and look and I'll put it on here. But the yarn reminds me of library. And did I tell you when I moved here, the first thing I did was get a library card, a temporary one? Yeah. And now that I have my driver's license, I can go get a real one. But anyways, that's the kind of person I am, if that tells you anything. But I wanted this one to be like a boyfriend sweatshirt, really big and cozy and something to, get cozy when reading or knitting or whatever. But yeah, it is big. But I'm down at the ribbing. Yeah, down at the ribbing. Let's check the needles. Size 3mm, size 2, because it's at the ribbing. I'll tell you what size. I think I went with the called for. I didn't swatch. I didn't swatch for any of these. I'm really bad when it comes to swatching. I need to be better. I know. So far, knock on some wood, I've had some luck with not swatching. I've had some bad luck too, but I guess not enough to steer me away from not swatching. So, oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, she's close. So close. And then the sleeves, I'm going to be on sleeve. Between all of these, I'm going to be on major sleeve island. So, continuing on with the Petite Knit Party. I know, I told you. I've had these patterns for a long time and then never knit on them. I don't know why. I finally got around. So I think this is going to be, I don't know if you've seen this one yet either. It's a new start for y'all, maybe. I started this right before we moved, so April timeframe. Trying to look up the name of this one, the Cumulus Tea. And I am doing it in the Tin Lin. Doesn't have a color name, I think, but it is, I think, 4372. Unless that's the lot number. But it's a gorgeous maroon color, showing pretty accurate, but maybe a little more saturated. Highas, size 3mm, 2 US. And this one is just a little beady, little 3mm needles. But this is where I'm at. So I think this is a V-neck. But I just joined in the round. Again, I didn't swatch. We'll see. The way I see it, if it doesn't, if something is too small for me, it'll fit my daughter. And this color is right up her alley. But oh, the yarn's really soft. It is a little hard to knit with, teeny tiny hard, but the fabric it makes is divine. And I think wearing it too it's very soft, very, very soft. And if you're not familiar with this brand, it is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. And it is, I will tell you, you can see there, it's a little splitty, but I haven't really had an issue. Just a little bit, but not much. Not enough to deter me away from it. But I think I have 3 balls of this, which is why I picked, I think I bought the yarn, no, 4 balls. Ooh, 4, okay. I'll probably need all of them, knowing if I'm making a decent size. Throw that in there. I think that's it. I don't know, for some that may be a lot. For some others, it may not be enough. But that's where I'm at least on the current projects. Yeah. So what else? A book update. About 34% of One Dark Window. Loving it. It took a while for me, I think, to get into it. I don't know if it was because it was really hyped up, but at first I was like, I don't understand what's all the hype. But as I'm getting through it, I'm like, okay, this is good. This is good. Buddy reading it with my sister, and then Dungeon Crawler Carl still physically reading book 4. I think I'm on chapter 5. I think I just got into 15, and we're listening to the same one, and I'm on chapter 17, which I'm really liking, either being right behind or right ahead, because when it comes to, this is why I struggle with audiobooks. I wish I didn't, because I would get through a lot more books, is I miss a lot. My mind just goes elsewhere, especially if there's a lot of distraction around me, which typically there is. So what else? I think that's it on the book front. Yeah, I'm only reading 2 right now. And I did start, it's not reading per se, but I did start Myrtle. My sister got me into it. So I'm in the elementary puzzles. And what's really funny is at the beginning, I was like, no way. It was so easy that I was overthinking it at the beginning. I didn't really realize how easy it was. Again, that's all relative, but for me, I was way overthinking it. I was like, oh, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. No, it really was as simple as, 1, 2, 3, ABC kind of thing. I think I hit around the 25 puzzle, number 25. So I'm getting, I think, into a little bit harder of the first part. And What else? So I'm really enjoying Myrtle. And just on the puzzle front, oh, like I am working on a puzzle with my daughter. I'll see if I can put a picture of that. My sister got me a puzzle table as a housewarming gift, and it like spins and has some drawers and it can tilt. And my daughter and I started a puzzle together, and it can slide under furniture too. But I need to get it out. I kind of put it down for a bit. It was a little hectic around here, but we need to get it back out. And it's a really pretty puzzle. It's of the globe, like a map, and then it has these butterflies on it. So super cool. Kind of hard because I think you'll see with the coloring, and it has gold foil. The way it's not easy, but it's fun. So that's on the other puzzle front. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I like doing Sudoku and word search. So Sudoku, I definitely love the whole numbers thing. Word search, as elementary as it may sound, I really like it because I actually learn something because of their theme. So, for example, there was one that was themed around energy. And I'll tell you a really funny story. So it was around energy, and it had, like fossil fuels, wind, that kind of stuff on the list. And then there was one that said Coke, COKE. It's horrible. What went through my mind was the white powder stuff, right? And I'm like, oh, is that like for energy? Like, caffeine. So I was like looking for the word caffeine. Maybe caffeine is on here. And I was like, oh, that's kind of being snarky. And I didn't see it. So then, of course, I do a quick Google search, and it's an actual, what's it called? Like those little brick thing, like charcoal kind of thing. Coke. That's what it's called, Coke. Yep. So I like learning little things like that. Maybe little, not so little to some people, I don't know. And then there's another one about weather, gale. What does gale, Gale, have to do with weather? It had to do with, I think, this was a few weeks ago. It's already kind of, but it had to do, I think, with a certain speed of wind, like within a certain, I don't know, maybe I'll put a definition if you even care. But that's one of the reasons why I like word search. I do struggle with crossword. I really struggle with crossword. Like, I just want to poke my eye out. It's been a long, long time since I've done it. I do want to try and pick it back up again. But in the meantime, I'm perfectly happy with my Sudoku, word search, and Myrtle. And word search, I kind of use as like a little relaxation, calming down, either at the beginning of the day, like how I start my day, or at the end of my day. I like just doing one little puzzle. So interesting factoid about things that I like. Okay, what else? So we started painting. We finished painting my daughter's room. We did a full color drench. So trim, doors, and ceiling all in one color and different finishes. That's what they say you're supposed to do. It looks amazing. It's really, really dark. And in some light, it almost looks black. But it's this gorgeous emerald green color. And I love the kind of theme that she's going with. Dark academia, planty. Even though it's funny, she didn't even realize it was kind of dark academia. But I called it that. And we got this gorgeous duvet cover from Etsy. It has these ravens on it. It has purple on it. So this purple with this green. Of course, that's right up my alley. I was kind of surprised she wanted to do that. But it looks absolutely stunning. And right now she's putting together some IKEA furniture. So we got little dressers to put on each side as nightstands because she doesn't really have much storage in her room because it's really small. But that's how we're going. So maybe if she'll let me, I'll share a few photos. But it looks absolutely stunning. And then my son's room, we started priming it. And so we're going to color that too. I don't think we were planning on doing a color drench, but when he was doing the primer, he's never really painted a room before. And we forgot to mention when he went up with the roller, don't touch the ceiling, and he did. So we're painting the ceiling. What? I don't know, maybe the same, maybe not. But it is a gorgeous navy blue color. I think it's called Navel. So we'll see how that goes. And I think we were really inspired when we went to IKEA. We found one of the sample showrooms. I called it the bachelor pad, and it looks really cool. And I think we're going to kind of mimic that or use that as inspiration for his room. And his room is here in the basement with me. So I haven't really worked painting or wallpaper yet here, so I'm sorry for the plain old background, but it leaves me a nice palette to post up any of those project pages we talked about. What else? So I do have family coming in, so I don't know how much recording I'm going to be able to do. I did get a new craft project, so my nieces are coming in with my sister-in-law. There's 3 of them, and they love doing crafty things with me, and I love that they love to do that. Oh, that reminds me, I didn't finish the blanket story. I'll get that in a minute. Anyways, I am doing the pipe cleaner flower thing. Again, I'll try and post a picture. Ran across it from Instagram or TikTok or something, and it has lights in it, so it could be like a lamp. And I thought the girls would absolutely love it. So I got all sorts of colors, and my daughter and I are going to try and do a test run beforehand so I know what I'm doing as we're going through it. And I think it's going to look really cool. The blanket story, I didn't finish when I was talking about my son's blanket. So all of my 2 kids and the nieces and nephews all got crochet blankets. My oldest 2 nieces, I just did 2.0 for them because they lost their blankets during Hurricane Harvey. The first ones I gave them. So the oldest, I just shipped off her blanket about a month ago. I may have mentioned it on here, but I'll put a picture of it really quick. It's for Texas A&M colors. I will never do the fringe like that again. It was just very tedious. So I will not be offering fringe for future blankets. So we'll see what her younger sister, my next niece, so she's due for her 2.0 blanket. I just wanted to get through my son's first, and then I'll work on hers because she is a year younger. So, and Sebby's been waiting for a long time because his Lego one kind of went kaput. What else? Yeah. So that's the blanket crochet story. That was it. I've gone through all the nieces and nephews, and now I'm kind of going through 2.0 with all of them. And I'd like to make one for my daughter for her new room and see if she'd like that. So, okay. Well, thank y'all again for being here. I hope y'all have enjoyed this update. All right, guys, I've been too chatty Cathy. I just had to delete a bunch of stuff. Anyways, thank y'all for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun talking about my whips, and I will see y'all next time. Hopefully I'll have a short video, an actual like YouTube short about my little stitchy corner that I finally have now. Yeah, okay, bye.